Somewhere in the bowels of the city that never sleeps,
Kevin McCullough, radio host with Salem Media,
is a man also not sleeping.
Syndicated radio talk show host Kevin McCullough.
And that guy would like a word with you.
Many of you know him as Vostradamus.
Of course that Kevin show is going to be great. The only thing that could be greater, of course, would be that Donald show. But we don't have that, so we have that Kevin show.
Featuring the music of Dick Tunney and the Dream in Color Orchestra. And tonight, she's the civilian equivalent of an admiral or general, our 4-star KT McFarland. She pushes for America First, Hilton Beckham. A Travis Taylor sketch from Penn Holderness on the way. And newly signed recording artist Olivia Lane in the spotlight. And now, from Times Square, where tourists often think that the cute little Halloween ghosts are decorated for the season, we just haven't had the guts to tell them that it's actually our grocery bags. Here's that Kevin!
Glad to welcome you into a new edition of That Kevin Show. Welcome to the weekend. It is very important for me personally to want to begin this show on a very specific note. We've had a lot of fun putting the show together. We're going to have some fun tonight. There are going to be some laughs. But in my first chance to, on this broadcast, address you regarding the terror attacks that happened in Gaza, Hamas and the terrorists that carried them out. I have been dismayed at what I have seen on my television and in my country for the last 9 days. It is almost unfathomable for me to personally process how you can have things like a senator want to issue a formal condemnation of anti-Semitic protests on college campuses across the country, and to have a Democrat senator from Maryland stand up and in almost Nazi-esque style prevent that condemnation from being ushered. One of the great lessons of history is that if you fail to learn its lessons, you will be condemned to repeat its mistakes. I feel like that the United States is on the verge of committing some massive repeats of mistakes that we never wanted to see again. And we should know better. Those of us that lived through the 9/11 attacks know that the forces that attacked Israel a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago now, were those of the same ideology that flew planes into the World Trade Center. They may come from different branches of extremism within the Islamic belief system, but they are extremists. And they wanted to kill the people that they disagreed with from a theological perspective. They feel like they're performing some sort of ultra big statement about how important it is for Islam to be seen as superior. But that's not what our system is. In fact, in the light of the aftermath of the Israeli attacks and the realization that in terms of just pure mathematical comparison, 1,400 now nearly 2,000 dead Israelis, hostages still being held, Hamas feeling no regret and in fact becoming more emboldened, Hezbollah, Lebanon, Yemen, all trying to join into the fracas along with forces from the Iranians. You begin to understand that what they have experienced is about 35 times bigger to the existence of Israel than 9/11 was to the United States. It's not to compare the suffering is equal. But when you have Hamas skinning pregnant women's bellies so that people can see the baby through the membrane, when you see the actual suffering that they inflicted on children before they killed them, when you see them taunting the people that they've taken the children away from by putting videos online and saying that they have your children, friends, this is not a normal group of people that we're dealing with. And I'm not sure that the Constitution can even uphold someone who is a devout believer in Islamic Jihad and say that they can truly be an American citizen. Our protection of religious liberty that's found in the First Amendment was written by founders who understood the God of the Bible, the God of Jews, the God of Christians, the God of nature, the God of creation. We don't understand, nor do we adhere to the God that says we will punish everyone who disagrees with us. We don't hold to the fact that if your religion says that you get to kill me in the process, that your religion is okay. In fact, I'm here to say very clearly tonight that it is not. And I want to say this to my Jewish friends. As a Bible-believing Christian who believes very much in the Old and the New Testament, I have nothing but profound respect and appreciation for those of you who observe the God of the Old Testament. Those of you that began the story that those of us who believe the New Testament completes are still part of that story. And so for my Jewish friends, many of whom comment on my show on a weekly basis on various things from cultural trends to parenting to technology, I want to say that tonight, as an evangelical, I stand firmly with you and will do so indefinitely into the future. What has happened to you, your people, your family, your children, it's heinous, it's wrong, and there is no equivocation about both sides on this. Israel has the right to exist, and it has the right to defend itself. And I'm glad to see that I was not the only one who believed that. My mayor in New York is not someone that I often agree with, but he gave a most profound speech in support of Israel in the aftermath of the attacks. And I wanted you to hear it. So this is Eric Adams.
This morning on my briefing, my special counsel, Lisa Zomberg, said something that I want us all to acknowledge. We've been through some tough time, New Yorkers. We are tough people. We saw the center of our trade collapse. We saw some of the horrific actions that played out on the stage of our city and our country. But she said something that hits me to my soul. She stated to our team, we are not all right. We are not all right when we see young girls pulled from their home and dragged through the streets. We are not all right when we see grandmothers being pulled away from their homes and children shot in front of their families. We are not all right when right here in the city of New York you have those who celebrate at the same time when the devastation is taking place in our city. We are not all right when Hamas believes that they are fighting on behalf of something in their destructive, despicable action that carried out. We are not all right when we still have hostages who have not come home to their family. We are not all right. And we're not going to say we have a stiff upper lip and act like everything is fine. Everything is not fine. Israel has a right to defend himself, and that's the right that we know. Your fight is our fight. Your fight is our fight. Right here in New York, we have the largest Jewish population outside of Israel. This is the place that our voices must raise and cascade throughout the entire country. We will not be all right until every person responsible for this act is held accountable. We don't have to pretend. And I want to thank my religious leaders throughout this city of all religious groups who reached out to us and clearly stated that they denounced the hatred and the anti-Semitism that was displayed on one of the holiest days of the year. This was intentional, this was bitter, this was nasty, this was something that shows Hamas must be disbanded and destroyed immediately. So I say to you, I'm not here because I'm your mayor. I've been in Israel as a state senator. I protected the community of this city in general, but specifically the Jewish community as a police officer. I stood with you as borough president. And now I'm here today to say not only am I the chief executive of this city, but I'm your brother. I'm your brother. Your fight is my fight. That swastika not only displays the pain of anti-Semitism, it displays the pain of racism among African Americans. You marched with us with Dr. King. You stood with us with all the fights we had. And I'm saying we're going to stand with you and stay united together. And we don't have to be all right. We should be angry at what we saw. Thank you, Israel.